Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to the bunker. It's time for another voicemail. Today's voicemail is from Luke. Let's listen to what Luke has to say.
Hi Lloyd, hope you are well. My name is Luke. I am not a Jehovah's Witness, so I've never been a Jehovah's Witness, but my friend was a Jehovah's Witness, and I was really good friends with him since primary school from the UK, just for some context. And I used to talk to him quite a lot, all the way up to, say, around year 8 or year 9 of high school. And yeah, he was really nice. He was quite quiet, quite reserved, and a few things that I found interesting was one, his mum was very lenient, very lenient. Like, ever since I've seen your videos, and they show how they want their members to act. She was very lenient. He used to enjoy collecting. I'm sure he still does, but he enjoyed collecting the older video game consoles. And he used to have games like Banjo-Kazooie, even though it contained a witch. And since watching your videos, I've seen that you're not meant to. And they're not meant to watch violent films, yet he's watched things like Die Hard. So that's one thing I found interesting. And secondly, he never mentioned the religion. And I find it really interesting that you say that, how should I phrase it? I find it interesting how you say that they were meant to preach at the school and talk openly about the religion. Yeah, even when I would go to question him about it, the answers were quite short. He didn't want to say too much. So that's another thing I found interesting watching your videos, and wanted to thank you for the informative work you do, because it's really helped me understand what my friend and his family must have been going through. Oh, to get to the point, one of my questions is that obviously I've never been a Jehovah's Witness, and that was another thing. They're not meant to have outside friends or outside of a religion. Yeah, I would be good friends with him, we'd go swimming, he'd come round mine, I went round his, things like that. And all of a sudden, contact with him just dried up. Like, he didn't really want to talk to me anymore. He got homeschooled due to reasons I won't mention. And, so one thing that I'm interested in is that you've mentioned in the past before that congregation politics exists. So one thing I was wondering is that would it have been a potential that the congregation's politics might have changed with new elders and things like that, where outside friends became a much bigger problem? And would that have been the reason why, or would that have not been likely, and would it have been if he was taking the religion more seriously, for example? Thank you for your time.
Thank you for calling in. What an interesting message. So, for American viewers, what would year 8 or year 9 be? I think year 7's the first year of high school, and you'd be about 11 then. So year 8, year 9, you'd be more like 12, 13 or so, I think. So it sounds like you had a friendship with this lad, and it sounds like it's haunted you, perhaps, that this friendship ended abruptly. I'm sure the fact that he started being homeschooled, which, by the way, is very common among Jehovah's Witness children, I'm sure the fact that he was no longer going to your school contributed to the fact that you weren't as close anymore. But even so, it sounds like there was very much a a cutting off, a shunning, and you struggle to reconcile the fact that, at least at the start of your friendship or in the early years, your friend wasn't acting like much of a Jehovah's Witness. So he wasn't going to school preaching. You were very close to him, or he was very close to you, even though you were quote unquote worldly. His mother was, as you say, very lenient. And I can imagine it must be very confusing for you to watch my videos, and especially the propaganda they put out, which portrays a very different version of what life is like as a Jehovah's Witness, including as a young Jehovah's Witness, and how much control there is on young Jehovah's Witnesses. And you must be scratching your head a little bit, thinking, well, what's the deal, or what was the deal with my friend? I think it's just worth stressing that different Jehovah's Witnesses and different Jehovah's Witness families take their beliefs more seriously or less seriously than others. And that's always going to be the case in any religion. You're always going to have people who are really in it, and they really raise their children to be in it as well. I think I wouldn't say one of the more hardcore families, my family, but we certainly took it very seriously. And I went to school fully believing that it was my responsibility to preach to my classmates. And I even did place books with my high school classmates. I shudder to think that I did that, and it caused me no end of grief, no end of bullying in the playground. Here's this Jehovah's Witness kid who, in addition to knocking on our doors on a Saturday morning, is also going around the school playground with the knowledge book or whatever it was that I was leaving with people. So I took it very seriously, but I can remember there being other Jehovah's Witness children at my high school who didn't take it that seriously. And they were really embarrassed by me. They were like, oh, we don't want to be near Lloyd, he's giving us all a bad name. And we don't want to see him hanging around with our worldly friends, doing things that we perhaps shouldn't be doing, and potentially getting us into trouble with elders or our parents. So, yeah, I have first-hand knowledge of this. I have first-hand knowledge of the fact that different Jehovah's Witnesses and different Jehovah's Witness children take the beliefs more seriously than others. You ask specifically, was it congregation politics, or was it the elders who put the kibosh on things, who ended your friendship with your friend? Honestly, it could have been any number of reasons. It's more likely, rather than it being the elders calling round at your friend's house and speaking to his parents and demanding that he has nothing more to do with you or with other quote-unquote worldly children, it's more likely that the parents got deeper into the religion, or maybe he got more deeper into the religion irrespective of what his parents were saying or doing. This happens, unfortunately. And this is a religion that says that you should only be cultivating friendships with fellow believers. Why would you want to be friends with people who are going to die at Armageddon imminently for not sharing your beliefs? Of course, you're going to want to cultivate friendships with fellow Christians, with fellow believers. So I wouldn't agonize over the question too much. I don't think you are agonizing over it. I think it's just something that you're curious about. It could have been congregation interference. It could have been a shepherding visit from the elders. Who knows? But it's just worth bearing in mind that, as in any religion, there's always going to be a broad spectrum when it comes to how devout people are and how seriously they take the beliefs. And without knowing the details, with very, very limited information at my disposal, I would guess that it's more likely that your friend simply gravitated closer to the religion due to the constant flow of indoctrination that Jehovah's Witnesses, and especially Jehovah's Witness children, are subjected to. So I hope that answers your question. I can understand again why it must be confusing. And you do get comments, or I get comments sometimes on this channel from people who say, oh, I know Jehovah's Witnesses, and my Jehovah's Witness workmate or my Jehovah's Witness schoolmate is nothing like you're describing. And I can fully believe it. I can fully believe it. But just because someone or an individual Jehovah's Witness isn't playing by the rules or isn't taking their beliefs seriously or has developed a more humane version of the religion they're supposed to be following, doesn't mean that that's how we should be thinking of the religion itself. I can only comment on this channel about the religion as represented in its own literature, because that's the religion that Jehovah's Witnesses are supposed to follow. So I hope this answer has been helpful for you. Thank you so much for calling in. If you would like to leave a voicemail, the thing to do is go to speakpipe.com/Cedars, remembering to indicate clearly if you don't want me to cover your message or broadcast your message on this channel. But that's all I have time for. Thank you so much for watching.